Hello everyone. This is going to be a video on how to improve your times at these any percent mini games. I'd like to think that my times are pretty decent, so I think I'm qualified to make this video. But of course there are better people than me, but they don't make the video, so here I am. I'm pretty sure Stevens is gonna make a fish video at some point, so you should watch that as well because he's the real fish master. But I'll try to tell you everything I know about these mini games and how to improve your times at them. All right, so fish. First thing is to know is that um, the most important thing in this mini game is routing, and you don't necessarily need to have super great execution. Like you can miss fish, you can miss torches. Actually, I whiff shots a lot, but it's okay as long as you have like some sort of a structured plan going into it. Um, sort of, let's say like you just have to use your brain a little, and then you can get much better times. Okay, so the first thing is that we need a routine to do at the beginning of every time we play fish. We need a routine to do. So what we do is that we come up to around this point here in the middle, and then we look around. Okay, look at the left, look at the right, see, wait about maybe 1 to 2 seconds. Look at which side has more fish, and then pick the one that has more fish. It's okay if you choose wrong, as long as you get like 3 to 5 fish at this point, it's okay. If you get less than that, you know, I wouldn't hold out hope for getting like a good fish at that point. Uh, but I mean, if you're in a run, it's not like you're gonna start over, right? So this first part is pretty important because if you do weird stuff here, then the fish are going to like group up in weird spots for basically the rest of the thing, and then it's just gonna be terrible, and you're not gonna be fast. So you really want to do this part kind of like the same every time, and yeah, don't do a bunch of yeah. You don't really want to do a bunch of weird stuff. So okay, anyway, I'm rambling now. So right, so should wait a little bit longer. Okay, so now let's look. So the left side clearly has more fish, so I'm gonna go to the left, and I suppose maybe is now like I suppose I can talk about this now, right? So corralling fish, you want to predict where they're going to go, and then try and cut them off. So you see these guys on the left are kind of going on the inside of that island. So I'm gonna try and go that way, so that I cut off their route. So let's see. Okay, so I got 5 here, right? And now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is not great. Probably I waited a little too long, but that's okay. So that's basically how it goes, right? You go to one side, you pick one side, you go there, light some torches, come back, light these torches. And so now we should talk about, I'll show that again, by the way, but we should talk about which torches that we want to prioritize, because that's pretty important for how we play this. So these torches, which are at the end, and the corresponding torches on the other side, these ones are super high priority. We need to get rid of these as soon as possible, because if we leave them to the end, that's going to be really awkward, just because they're so far away from all the fish. They're so far away from the ending. You're losing a lot of time if you have to go all the way over here just to get one torch, right? So make sure you get like these ones. These 3 are pretty good to try and get early, at least these 2. And then when you go back to the other side, you generally you'll get some fish in the center. I didn't there because I was talking, and then so I might have messed up some timing or whatever. But generally you'll get some fish here, and then you can even like light some of these torches, and then you light 1, 2, 3, whatever, and then you would go back and then do like the second lap, right? And then on the second lap, you have a little bit more freedom in which torches to choose. So right now I have 4 fish, right? So I would at this point try to get rid of these 3 torches. These 3 torches I would say are pretty annoying to deal with later on, because you tend to not like go over there, and like the lines the lines tend to not be very good, and also I forget about them a lot at the end. Those like those kind of torches are like the ones where when I get to the end I'll be like, oh no, which one is the last torch, and it'll be one of those because I forgot about it. So I try to get those out of the way if I can. This one is another one of these. This one is kind of another one of these, but this one is not so bad, for the reason that a lot of times I like to go like this way and light these torches and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll show that again. So wait here, and then I'm going to go to the right this time. Get 4, that's okay. Actually, I've got 5, I think. And I missed. And then, so this is what I mean by you should get a lot. So you see that I take out some of those early because I have fish already. Get this one. Then come around to the back like this. And then at this point, you start kind of just making stuff up. Just trying to clean up stuff. Maybe get this one on the way. And then you remember that, oh no, I have to do this one, so you go do that one. And then so at this point, it's really just like, this is where practice really matters, I think. And then so I missed, so but otherwise that would have been like an okay fish, like a 101 maybe, if I had played the end a little bit faster. But you kind of see the idea, right? I hope. You know, I have like the first 2 laps kind of, you know, generally more or less the same every time. And then after that, you kind of have to start making stuff up. So, say I go to the left this time. I get this. And then on this side, you go get this. Get these torches. And then go back to the left. And then I couldn't get these that last time, so I'm gonna do them now, especially because I have 3 torches already, or 3 fish, you know, coincidentally at that time, so I would recommend going for those instead of some other ones. And then go back this way so that I can clean up some of these torches maybe. And then I just need 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. So 107 is pretty good. So you can see like I kind of have a structure going. I have some which torches that I want to prioritize. And as for trying to collect fish, that's kind of more like an experience thing. You just, at some point you can kind of predict how they're going to move, and then you just go to try and cut them off. Generally, like if they're in the center here, going wide is usually a good idea, because that'll direct all the fish towards this way, and then you can try and go get them like this. But maybe sometimes maybe there'll be a bunch like bunched up right here. In that case, maybe you could just, you know, go like narrow. I don't know how to say this. Like take a tighter line, and then let's say maybe you go here, 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 blah 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 blah, right? Yeah, and then these, you know, these torches which are near the end, you can leave these to the. These are basically low priority since they're so close, so you don't really lose much time if you leave them to later. Okay, the next thing that I want to say is kind of like a more, well, okay, so Stevens told me this is a cardinal sin. Okay, and you see, like when I was playing fish earlier, when I was doing my demonstration runs, never once did I do something like this. right? If you do something like this, like it can be okay maybe at the end, but like especially if you're in the beginning, you definitely don't want to go over here. Like even if you see like, you know, 3 or 4 fish here, if you have any other choice, don't go this way, because like the odds are that you're not going to get the fish anyway, because they're going to split into 2 different directions. And then once you go back here, the fish tend to change how they group up, and it becomes it ends up being really weird, and you'll end up like being in here and there's just only like a single fish and there's nothing else. And that's really bad. The other thing that you might want to avoid is kind of like, you know, going over here, you know, just lighting these torches, going back, because then you don't really give the fish enough time to group up again. So that's another thing to consider. But I feel like I tend to not really think about that too much necessarily when I play. It ends up just, that kind of thing just kind of ends up being like intuition, just, you know, experience. I mean, I've practiced this minigame a lot, so I already kind of have that just in my brain. Okay, so kind of the last thing, or not the last thing, but kind of like the second to the last thing that I wanted to talk about is that you really, if you want to get like 110, 113, you know, or 1 minute plus, you know, fish, then you kind of want to start thinking about like how do I avoid wasting fish. So like if I have, you know, if I have like 4 right now, and then I go to the other side, oh, there's a big group over here. Okay, I need to get rid of some of these fish before I try to get them. So you see, I'm like shooting, as you know, I'm trying to shoot anything I can so that I don't end up wasting a bunch of fish, right? You try to shoot whatever you have, regardless if you miss or not. Like even if you miss, it's okay. It's always the correct decision, because you really don't want to be wasting those fish. If you shoot and then you whiff, then you're wasting that one fish that you had. But if you don't shoot, then you're guaranteed to waste a fish, is kind of what I'm saying. As in the other case, you might not have wasted anything at all. That's kind of like a higher level thing, and it's a little bit hard to think about, but that's why you see me like shooting stuff on the way, especially like on the second lap or on the way to, you know, the other side. So like, let's say here, you know, I'm gonna try and shoot if I can, because I saw there were more fish that were coming in front of me and I didn't want to waste anything. You see, like that? That's exactly what I'm talking about. And so, and this way you can kind of take out just a couple of, you can kind of chip away at the remaining torches, right? So you're not wasting time hunting for fish to do those later, because you already did them on the way to getting other fish. So you're doing 2 things at once, which is always going to be faster. Oh, I missed. Okay, this is bad routing. But honestly, the routing is not even necessarily super important. Like, I mean, it is important, of course. It is the most important thing. But you can get away with suboptimal routing as long as you just drive fast. If you drive smoothly, it can work out anyway. Like, and by that I mean like you don't want to be bouncing around, like running into torches, stuff like that. Just try and, you know, keep smooth lines. Stay on the water where you can. Don't go onto land too much if you don't have to, because that will really impede the speed of your vehicle. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is that at the end, okay, you should be looking at your fish meter and your torch meter, because you don't want to be going after fish when you don't need them. So you really need to look at it is like at the end, like let's say you've made like 3 laps, and then at this point you're probably somewhere around like 18 torches or so, right? And then you should make sure, okay, I only need 7 more, right? And and then look at your fish and be like, okay, I have 2 right now. I only need 5 more. And keep that in your head, right, while you go for the rest of them. And because it's really slow if you run after a group of fish when you already have everything you need, and that's really tragic because you can lose 114 fish to that just because you didn't look. And I used to do this all the time. I still do this sometimes. Stevens used to make fun of me for it. He would be like, oh, you did the thing again. And I was like, ah, man, I did the thing again. So yeah, don't do the thing. Don't be like me. Everybody does it, but yeah, don't do the thing. Just open your eyes at the end, look at the counters, and yeah, just get used to it. It'll be fine. Okay, that's all I have to say about fish, so we'll move on to chickens now. All right, chickens. So it's kind of opposite to fish. So fish, all we needed is a little bit of routing, and we're chilling, right? And we can get pretty okay times. In chickens, it's really about the execution. You need to be able to kill these chickens with 1 hit, like 1 swing. So 1 swing per chicken. So you really need to train your swing timing. Understand how Sly's cane moves. That's really important. And aside from that, just pick a route and stick to it. Try not to get stuck on things, of course, because that's how you get killed by roosters. But just pick a route and stick with it. So like at the beginning, for me personally, I like to go over here first, but you don't have to. I mean, there are runners which go this way, right? And there are probably even people who run clockwise instead of counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter. You just have to pick something and then just do that, right? So the route that I would recommend, the route that I like to do is I go this way for beginners. Okay, I clarify. This is if you get below 35 average. Okay, if you get below 35 average, this is what you should be practicing. Is you should just be practicing swing timing and ignore everything else. Don't think about routing. Just pick a route and go with it. So this is the route that I like to do. Is something like this. This would be the default route. Now, you can change this sometimes if, let's say, you see a chicken in the corner, then you can go in the corner. But otherwise, you want to focus on really cutting all the corners you can, because going in the corners is really slow, especially if you go into all of them. Now, this corner tends to have a lot of chickens grouped up. This is kind of something that you'll just figure out, when you play a lot, is you'll kind of get to know which corners tend to have chickens in them. So this one you will usually have some chickens in them, assuming that you keep this route. And then maybe this one, and then maybe even this one, but maybe there's a rooster here, so you should bail out and go this way, something like that. So don't think about the route more than you have to. Just run around in circles and try to focus on hitting the chickens with 1 swing. You don't want to spam, right? That's something that everybody says. Don't spam, because the more you spam, first of all, the easier it is to get hit by the roosters. Second of all, it's so easy to miss when you spam because of the way Sly's cane works. You can so easily just try to do this and then just not hit anything. It's really awful, honestly. So just swing once per chicken. That's the ideal. And then once you have something like above a 35 and you're looking to get into the 40s, then you can start thinking about routing. Okay, but let's just demonstrate, I suppose. So I tend to like to swing to mash at the beginning, but once I get out of that initial side, like the right side, then after that I just swing normally. So I didn't get anything there, but that's okay. There's nothing there either. What? Here, go this way. And if you can avoid the roosters, especially in the front, by hugging the wall. So that's a really important tip. That's really good to know. And After a while, you kind of get used to where the roosters, or not the roosters, the chickens go. Oh, that was really risky. Sometimes you can even go around like that, but that's against my advice, so you shouldn't do that. But I got into the habit of thinking about routing, so now I just do it by accident. But anyway, even if I hadn't done that, it would have been like a 30 something. So not too bad, right? For just running around in circles. But once you get above that level, then you're gonna want to start routing. And what I mean by that is, I mean, it really is just like you go where the chickens are. You go where you see chickens. And it's really bad on original because you can't see anything. So honestly, like, play remaster, right? That's the lesson here. But on original, you can't see anything. So you kind of just have to be good and guess and know where the chickens are going to be, probably. So you can see that I'm kind of staying like similar route to what I was doing before, but now sometimes I'll turn around. Maybe I'll even switch directions entirely. Whoa, that chicken just got proxied to hell. To heaven? And then, this is not really a super great chickens, but I'll try and get a good one for you guys. This is actually kind of bad, but I'll try to get a good one for you guys. Ideally, you should get like a 40. I mean, that's what you want to aim for, like, for, you know, top level. Well, top level should be 40 plus, but you know. A really, really good chickens is like 50. I think the TAS has a 52. I think ryyd's remaster record has a 49, which is kind of insane. My own PB at the moment has a 40, I believe. Whoops. Maybe you can jump over stuff like that. So this is looking to be a little bit better. You can even jump over the roosters if you want. So still not, you know, plus, you know, more than 40, but you know, it's okay. Alright, so this is a pretty good one. So as you can see, like, I didn't stray too far from the path, but sometimes, I was clearly playing so that, like, you know, there was once where I just completely skipped this area entirely because I saw chickens over here and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go get them. Right, but it was still mostly like the same. Also, I don't remember if I said this, but you can avoid the chickens by running up here. You can also jump over them. That also works. I mean, don't necessarily swing like that. You might kill yourself. Certainly don't do anything like this or something. This is, you know, jumping like this is really slow. Anyway, I think that should be all I have for chickens. So we can move on to slugs. Okay, first thing for slugs is that for this despawn strat, which is not really a despawn, but basically I wait until the slug has started turning towards, like, turning to face me. Right. So now, and then I knock him off. And you want to knock him, you want to, you know, push him kind of to the right a little bit. And then you should, that should, like, reliably get you there. Something like that should be good. And then slugs after that, I don't even know what to say about this minigame, really. Like, the best thing I can say is, like, first of all, if you're not playing with claw grip, then you need to be playing with claw grip, because especially in original, you cannot see anything. You can't see any of the computers. I don't know where I'm going half the time. Even with claw grip. So claw grip, right? You have your thumb on. You've got your thumb on the right stick so that you can control the camera and look at the arena at all times, and then you have your index finger on square so you can, you know, use the battering ram like normal. And you can see that I'm really, you know, frantically turning the camera because I can't see anything otherwise. I don't know where any of the computers are. I have to turn the camera like this. And so for Slugs, I would say the most important thing is, you know, you need to be trying to get computers at like a very constant rate. Like you need to be getting computers all the time. So prioritize the computers is basically what I'm saying. Prioritize the computers, ignore the slugs. The slugs don't really matter that much. And I mean, don't ignore them, like, but only kill them when it's like very convenient, or you can get like a, you know, a computer that they're about to get, right? Something like that. And then, or like, let's say, you know, sometimes I like to get slugs if I, you know, I've gotten a bunch of computers. I don't know where the next one is. I don't know where the next one is yet. So I use that time to kill a slug, and then at the same time I'm looking around, right? I'm looking around for a computer to go after. Now, in theory, you want to kind of knock them off to the sides because that means they take the longest to come back. But I mean, don't worry about it too much. Just hit them, honestly, or just ignore them. The other thing about slugs is that you really have to be good at driving, and it's really hard because it's hard to drive in this minigame. It's really easy to just miss stuff, but that just comes with practice, really. That's the, I mean, you have to, this is, the thing about slugs is that, like, with the other mini games, you can be good at one thing and get like pretty decent times, and you can like for fish, you could be good at routing, or you could you know some stuff about routing, and then you didn't have to be super great on execution. You can still get good times. With chickens, the opposite. This you need to kind of have both. Like you need to be constantly moving towards another computer, and you need to be able to not miss the computers to get good times. So it really sucks. I hate this minigame. It's so bad. That's honestly, I don't even have anything else to say about this minigame because it's just like, just practice it, really. That's all I can say. When I practice, sometimes, you know, so right now I'm playing without a timer, but sometimes I'll start timing from when I hit restart level, and then that's pretty close to about how I would judge it in like a real run. So like in a real run, I would be looking at my segment timer, and then I would look at it when the minigame ends, right? So I split on the map freeze, so it depends on when you split. So like his splits on fade out, which means that his slug times are going to be a little bit longer than mine, even though they're the same performance, because I split a little bit later than he does. So for me, I like to have like 113 slugs. I would say that's like a good slugs, or at least a decent slugs. You know, something like sub 110 is like insane. I think my gold is like a 106 or something crazy on remaster. On original, it's harder, so don't worry about it too much. But okay, let's say like aim for like 113, you know, sub 120 I'm okay with. Anything sub 120 I'm like okay with. Especially if we have 4 slugs, sub 120 is like pretty good. Like if you miss the despawn, you get 4 slugs, sub 120, pretty good, right? But anything above that is kind of not super great. And this is talking about like the end of the minigame, okay? Not the end of the level. So the split time is gonna, if you get like a 113, it's gonna be like a 130 something. This like the total split time is gonna be like a 130 something because the cutscene is like 20 seconds long or something. So anyway, that's it for the mini games. This one really sucks, so unfortunately I don't have anything to say. And the reason that this is only including the any percent mini games is that I don't know how to play crabs. So I'm not talking about that. But maybe in the future, once I become good at like all keys mini games, then I'll talk about those. But for now, this is gonna be it. So this is not a very good Slugs so far, but that's okay. If they're tied with you, you should be crying. Like, that's not good. You don't want them to be tied with you. But it can be hard, especially because right now I'm playing with 4 Slugs. So I think this would probably end up being like a 135 or something. Something bad like that. So if you have 4 Slugs, it can be helpful to try and clear out some of the Slugs earlier on, so they don't take all the computers, I think. But yeah, general strategy, just go for the computers. Like, almost ignore the Slugs. I mean, don't actually ignore them, but like kind of ignore them. Anyway, that's all I got. So thanks for watching. Actually, in the description I'll have a playlist of my minigame practice, some of my minigame practice sessions, so you can just watch, and you can watch how I do stuff, and I might update it every now and then. So yeah, I hope this helps. Bye bye.